Guys, so today we're going to be looking at question 13, and this is from the SAT number 10. And 13 says, which choice best supports the idea that women, if they choose, are entitled to act as men do? So this is one of those questions that basically they give us a claim or they give us a point that they want us to find the evidence for down here. So we're looking for A, B, C, and D. We're going to look through each of these. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to look for any of these texts that tell us that women, if they wanted to, are entitled to act as men do. So they're able to act as men do. So let's go and look for that in one of these choices here. And if you're having trouble with the passage and understanding the passage, I suggest that you watch the passage outline video that I did. That'll go through it a little bit, maybe give you a little more sense of what's going on, because I know this can be kind of a confusing passage. So let's start with 33 through 35. That is right here. So this is the question: why expand the female heart merely to render it more conscious that it is? I think it should be, that it is by the tyranny of custom rendered vulnerable. So basically, this is her asking a question here, which is, what's the point of educating women, of giving women some degree of education, when all it does is make them more conscious or more aware of the fact that they don't have these liberties, right? By the tyranny of custom rendered vulnerable. So basically, why expand their heart, give them a greater understanding of their situation? And it's basically it's part of her case and her argument for the fact that women need greater expansion of their education and freedom and liberty of mind. But what this doesn't do here is tell us that women, if they wanted to, they're entitled to, or they have the same right to act as men do. So I don't think it's a really good answer choice. So let's eliminate that one for now. B says 38 through 40, which is right here. That says, let him, and him is going to be referring to men, let him not hope for luxurious mental harvests where the sun of cultivation is obscured by impenetrable prejudice. So here the author is using a metaphor, and basically what her point is that let men not hope for a luxurious mental harvest, or not expect too much from the education that women are now receiving, where the sun of cultivation, or really what's powering their growth, their education, it's obscured by impenetrable prejudice. So basically, men's prejudice towards women and towards the expansion of their minds is going to limit the extent to which women are able to expand their minds, to explore ideas, and to receive a proper education. So men shouldn't expect too much from that, or shouldn't expect a luxurious mental harvest. So this is not a good answer choice for telling us that women, if they wanted to, are entitled to act as men do, that they have the same liberty and the same right to act as men do. So I would say let's get rid of B. Then we have C, which is lines 46 through 49, and that's going to start here. But she is not permitted, this is women, she is not permitted to attain it. She is conscious of possessing equally strong mental powers, but she is obliged to yield as the weaker creature. So it, in this case, is to get the intellectual blessing, right? She wants the intellectual blessing. She wants the freedom of mind. She sighs for it. It's right within her view because she's receiving a little bit of education. She's allowed to read a little bit, but not to the fullest extent that she wants. So it says she's not permitted to attain it. She is conscious of possessing equally strong mental powers towards men, but she has to yield as the weaker creature. So this right here is also not a good answer choice for telling us that women, if they wanted to, they have just as much right to act in the way that men are acting. So that, I think we can eliminate that one. And that's going to leave us with answer choice D to look at, which is 63 through 65. And honestly, when we're doing this in real time, we may not be able to eliminate them resolutely as we're going down like this. So we may have to just go through them once, maybe go through them a second time, and basically sort of weigh them against each other until we feel really confident that we find a right answer choice. So let's look at D now, which is 63 through 65, and that's down here. And this basically says here, and there is no law of nature which forbids them, none of any species, but that which is framed by man. And here we want to make sure that we're checking our references so we know who's being talked about. And it says there is no law of nature which forbids them, and them here is referring to women. So no law of nature which forbids them. How do we know that? Because we're going to step outside of the text to check our reference, and we're going to read this. Supposing women were to act upon the same principle of egotism, and that's referencing this back here. So the principle of egotism will actually be acting like men do, right, upon that same principle of egotism, consulting their own inclinations, interest, and amusement only. So supposing women were to act like men and just be self-interested, and then she has this little parentheses which says there's no law of nature which forbids them, none of any species but that which is framed by man. So this is essentially a side note which is saying women are able to and have almost just as much right because there's no law of nature that prohibits them to act in the same self-interested way that men do. So I would say that this is a really good answer choice for telling us that women, if they wanted to, could act in the same way that men are. So for that reason, we're not going to eliminate it. We're going to choose answer choice D for our correct answer for question 13.